The works of Philo. Philo was a Jew who lived in Alexandria, Egypt. He was well learned in the Torah. He was a contemporary of Paul and the other apostles. He lived around in the mid-1st century A.D. And the reason why I want to bring out some of the information from Philo is that he has some strong insights on the Torah, and I want to share some information concerning the new moon. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with Philo, if you do buy his works, I will tell you this much: Philo had a deeper understanding on the law. Some of you who are in a reprobate mind state will not understand the works of Philo. You might even, in fact, think that he was crazy, because most of the things that he wrote about went much deeper than the Peshat level of the scriptures, and so he got off into a lot of allegorical teachings and displayed a deep understanding of Hebrew thought. And I like the works of Philo because it gives an example of how a learned Hebrew of that era would have thought. Now, Josephus mentions Philo, and many of us are nowhere near the level that Philo was at in his understanding. And it shows, gives an example or a benchmark of where we should be, as opposed to carrying on and thinking like Sunday worshiping Christians who simply call ourselves Israel. Alright, so let's get into Philo and what he has to say regarding the new moon. Now, there's some who teach that the new moon can be predicted, and they even list calendar dates of when the new moon is to be kept. But the new moon was never to be kept according to mathematical calculations. It was always supposed to be kept according to the sighting of the new moon. And Philo has information concerning this, and he shows proof of how the new moon is to be kept, or is to be sighted rather. So in the section entitled The Special Laws 2, chapter 25, under the heading The Third Festival, section 140 reads, "Following the order which we have adopted, we proceed to speak of the third festival, that of the new moon. First of all, because it is the beginning of the month, and the beginning, whether of number or of time, is honorable. Secondly, because at this time there is nothing in the whole of heaven destitute of light. Thirdly, because at that period the more powerful and important body gives a portion of necessary assistance to the less important and weaker body. For at the time of the new moon, the sun begins to illuminate the moon with a light which is visible to the outward senses, and then she displays her own beauty to the beholders." So you can see here that at the time of the new moon, the sun begins to shine onto the moon, and you can see the crescent. It shows a little bit of the light from the sun that's being reflected off the moon. Now I'll repeat that because, like I said earlier, Philo speaks in a language in a way that might be hard for some to understand. And let me repeat this, where it says under 141, "Thirdly, because at that period the more powerful and important body gives a portion of necessary assistance to the less important and weaker body. The first body is the sun, the less important and weaker body is the moon. Where it reads, "For at the time of the new moon, the sun begins to illuminate the moon with a light which is visible to the outward senses, and then she displays her own beauty to the beholders." So this disproves the fact, this disproves those who attempt to keep the moon according to calculations, or say that the new moon is actually a black moon, when and that's how it is on the calendars. It can't be spotted. You can't see a black moon in the night sky. All right, now continue reading, because there's a deeper message behind what's taught here. It says, "And this is, as it seems, an evident lesson of kindness and humanity to men, to teach them that they should never grudge to impart their own good things to others, but imitating the heavenly bodies, should drive envy away and banish it from the soul." So this is showing how he used this example as how we are to assist others, and share a little bit of our light with those who are lesser. All right. The Jewish Book of Why by Alfred J. Kolach. I just want to share an excerpt from the Jewish Book of Why. I think this is a great book for those who have questions on why not only Israelites do what they do, but why those who are under the identity of Jewish do what they do. It explains where a lot of their traditions originated, but also explains things that are not traditions, and gives proof from the scriptures on the reason why we do some of the things that we do. But for the most part, it answers questions concerning why Jewish people do what they do. So let's check out the Jewish Book of Why concerning how the new moon is to be determined. Okay. Chapter 15. Minor Observances. This is from page 280 of the Jewish Book of Why. Now, under these minor observances, they're going to go into the new moon. We'll start down here where it reads, "Why is the beginning of each month of the Jewish year celebrated as a semi-holiday?" They even make notice of the fact that it's a semi-holiday, as opposed to the Shabbat, which is a full holy day. Alright, it says, "The celebration of the new moon, or Rosh Chodesh, as a semi-festival has deep roots in Jewish tradition. In Talmudic times, whenever witnesses testified that they had observed the crescent of the new moon," and this is what I want to point out here. It says, in Talmudic times, whenever witnesses testified that they had observed the crescent of the new moon, the Sanhedrin, or highest court, after verifying the testimony, declared the new moon's arrival official, and that became an occasion for celebration. So you can see, just like in Philo's writings, it had to be cited. They could not predict it on the calendar, because the new moon does not always fall on the 30th day. It could fall on the 29th day. Alright. So I'm going to repeat that. It says, in Talmudic times, whenever witnesses testified that they had observed the crescent of the new moon, the Sanhedrin, highest court, after verifying the testimony, declared the new moon's arrival official, and that became an occasion for celebration. Special sacrifices were offered in the temple, according to the law. The shofar was blown, according to the law, and the population carried on in a festive manner. To the prophets, particularly Isaiah, in Isaiah 1:13, the new moon celebration was equated in importance with the Sabbath. Now, they're not saying that it was a Sabbath, but it was just as important. And all of the Most High's consecrated days are of all of equal importance. All right? And we can cover Isaiah 1:13 right now.